based on the credible information that is getting to us, the Malian Armed Forces are opening new theaters of operation as they continue to pile a lot of offensive pressure on the jihadists. I mean, the JNIM jihadists. And as you can see in the video, this is some of the snippets that we are getting from some of these operations that the Malian Armed Forces are continuously launching against the jihadists to put the jihadists on the back foot. It's more offensive right now, not defensive position, not being reactionary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video. And as you can see in the video, you could see few troops, strategic weapons that they are using, and you can see the few troops, you can see the weapon that they have there. You know, the troops are not even so worried, they're not so bothered. Why? The reason is because they have multiple UAVs that is coordinating and controlling the ground operation, putting the troops in a real-time protective situation, and is improving their operational capability to the point where the others, no matter their numbers, they just get disadvantage on a whole different level. And this Malian Armed Forces, I can't believe how much they have improved from, let's say 2022 and thereabout, because they continue to adapt, they continue to improve their maneuverability, and what we are seeing, and I was even surprised to even see a female among some of the Malian Armed Forces that, establish contact with the jihadists, and, especially on the Sikasso Eremakono route, they have now opened a serious offensive operation along that route, and the jihadists network along the right continue to get pummeled into the ground. And this is a very, very great job for the Malian Armed Forces. And as I continue to say, the objective remains one: to demilitarize the enemy, to make sure that the enemy doesn't have a place to really stay and launch their nefarious activities within the Malian state, overtly and covertly, as Mali continues to control all the necessary logistics that will be needed just to make sure that they continue to get positive results on the line of contact. And the greater thing is that the civilians of Mali, the people of Mali, continues to support their troops. They continue to show love, and that is all you need to win a war. And like I said, this is an existential war, and thank God that the Malian people, majority of the Malian people, they know what is at stake here, that this is a war that is being waged by foreign interest. Yeah, exactly, foreign interest, and multiple foreign interests within the Maghreb, that is the north of Mali, and you have some in Europe. So, and Mali continues to fight. I believe that, these foreign invaders were not aware that they did not believe, based on the calculus of their operation, they did not believe that the Malians can really transition to this new phase that has brought about these new realities we are seeing on the line of contact. Ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, let's listen to what one of the Malian security chiefs had to say about the operations that is currently going on in Mali. Let's watch this video.
We will fight for our ancestors, for ourselves, but also we will fight truly for our descendants. This is a mission. It's a mission that we will accomplish at the cost of our lives if necessary. Each time we usually commit, the group always remains engaged and to rise to the challenges. And in this regard, I can undoubtedly reassure the population that the FAMAs will always be there to successfully carry out this mission, to defeat this enemy that wants at all costs to prevent us from having our sovereignty. And undoubtedly, I can affirm it in view of everything that is undertaken as strategic planning by the highest military authorities. For the men, it's really about continuing to tighten the belt. We will.
Now, like I said, they did it all. The Malian Armed Forces have carried the heavy lifting. So it's just you and I, our responsibility is just to continue to support these beautiful people, these lovely people, as they continue to protect the rest of Africa. Because, it started from Libya, now it's in the Sahel. The only reason why it's not massively extravasating into the rest of the African state down south is because there is a blockade up in West Africa by just a few countries. So how beautiful will it be if everybody put heads and hands and feet together to make sure that this escalation is stopped where it is? Because if it extravasate from Sudan, only Sudan, if it extravasate, is going to lead to a cataclysmic situation that nobody will be ready to imagine. So you can see that in Ghana right now, in the northern part of Ghana, where you have minerals, some of these ham men are already extravasating into those places. This we need to stop this. We need to stop this before it becomes a thing. And for every scabs, every straps that the Malians continue to claim, as they continue to unify their territory, as they continue to reconcile their territory, it only discourages the enemy, and it continues to show that the enemy is continuously losing grasp of control in Africa. And that is what the enemy has always been after: control. So don't fall for the rhythm, get the game. So let's go. 20 JNIM jihadists were neutralized by the Nigerian Armed Forces by the deployment of the Aksongo drone, and they deployed some infantry troops. What really happened here was that these jihadists were migrating from the border between Niger and Mali, and they were trying to move towards the Nigerian border, where they can actually infiltrate the northern part of Nigeria. And what the JNIM are after. They're not really interested in the northeast or the north. They are trying to get to Kwara State. Most especially the Barutin, the Kwara, the Barutin and the Kayama part of Kwara State. That is where they are trying. That's the location right now where they have been trying to open a new front. And the reason why Kwara State has been a target is because the Ansaru thing. They really have some of this extremist, should I say, clerics around that side. So they believe it will be a fertile ground for them to open a new front in Nigeria. And there's only one reason they are in that state, is because of the strategic resources of the state. And anyone that is found in that location, be it Christian or Muslim or whoever you think you are, baby or adult or whoever, what these guys are going to do. So I think it's high time for Nigerians to put us together, come together, and open a resistance against these people, both the internal saboteurs and the external ones. A lot of infiltration has taken place, but I strongly believe that the Nigerian people still have that, they still have that card to resist this invasion. It's still ongoing, but it's not at its full-blown stage where the escalation can no longer be contained. It can still be contained, it can be eliminated, but majority of the Nigerians need to concentrate. They need to really concentrate and not get distracted by the tirade or by the circles circles of distraction that most of their influencers and the Western people try to use in distracting them. So it's better we get the game. So the Nigerian Armed Forces were able to neutralize some of those people with the drones. And if you can see right there on the ground, a lot of those people were creased into hash, and some of them were mortally taken out by the Nigerian Armed Forces. And this is a win. Like I always say, your own security is as good as the security of your neighbor. Like they say on the streets, that it's the first neighbor that will defend the second neighbor. Nobody is coming from a distant place to defend you. Just imagine if Russia was defending Ukraine against the West defending Ukraine. Just imagine what the calculus of combat and the realities on the line of contact would have been. So, I mean, it's just good that, even some the Sahel states, they know what is at stake, and they continue to help, they continue to put a lot of capabilities in place to just make sure that they are able to restore normalcy, peace and tranquility along this route. Long live the Nigerian people, long live the AES, and long live Nigeria. And together we are going to prevail. And a new responsibility for Nigerians is to be focused, don't get distracted, don't get distracted. This is not a Christian Muslim thing. You definitely have bigots on every side, but this is more of an existential threat, and it is not your fault that you have resources on your ground, but unfortunately you have resources on your ground, and this is a contest between so many nations: the US, Europeans, Chinese, UAE. So I mean, and they are sending so many type of infiltrators in. If I show you some of the ISWAP jihadists that we've seen so far, so good. Some of those people are Maghrebs, some of them are Arabs. A lot of people don't even know what is going on. The terrorism situation in Nigeria is such that a lot of people be like, how are these people getting into the country? A lot of people want to say it's a Fulani thing, but let me explain something to you. Nobody knows the terrain of Nigeria like the jihadists Fulanis knows, because they don't live within the cities. They live in the forest. They move. They are nomads. See, this was a well-planned invasion, because the West actually studied Africa. They looked at it, that what type of people can we get that will give us this strategic advantage, and these are the best people. Little education, but well schooled on the terrain, on the geography of the country. You can't tell me there's a place in Nigeria that the Fulanese have not actually crossed or passed before, because they continue to move as a result of different geographical and weather circumstance. They continue to move their cattle from one place to another. So where you don't even know within your state, they know it. So which people would the infiltrators rather talk to? They won't talk to the government, because they have to pay some money, so they don't want to pay that money. So for them, we will have control. We will just empower those people with enough weapons and with enough logistics, do a little bit of infiltration and compromise within the upper echelon of powers, and we can gain control. So I mean, Nigerians should just understand that this is an existential war. You join hands together to speak against this violent escalation, and that is what it is. Get the game, because I'm dropping real game for you, and I hope you understand. So the United States forces are currently in Somalia. They landed yesterday, and within 24 hours along the Balade route, 100 US Special Forces Commando, together with their airborne component that has been working like a clockwork against the IS Somali terrorists. They've actually KIA multiple IS Somali leaders in the past 24 hours. Evidences are in the loop, and as they continue to drop the pictures of the bodies of these leaders, we'll continue to bring it to you guys so that you can have a real-time intel on what is going on right there. You can see pictures of the US forces on the ground, and the reason why the US forces now have boots on the ground in Somalia is because so far, as we have seen on the line of contact in the Somalian front, the Portland forces, which the US have been supporting for quite a while, they've not been able to make significant improvements on the line of contact. So with the US now coming, just in 24 hours, we are seeing a whole nother level of improvement. And hopefully, it can continue. And hopefully, before the enemy get some kind of, adaptive maneuverability, maybe they will be able to waltz through them. So, and another news, we have Kiev now agreeing to a peace deal. It's a potential thing, and there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. Ukraine may finally, just say yes to peace. But this peace, at the end of the day, it still seems like the Europeans are not really satisfied. You can listen to what Emmanuel Macron is saying. we hope they can reach peace at the end of the day. You know, strategically, if they're able to reach peace, it's going to benefit both the European. It's gonna be beneficial to everybody. You know, the world is gonna have peace. The Malian people are gonna have more peace. The Nigerians are gonna have, you know, because a lot of people don't understand that this escalation has a way of economically affecting everybody. Because some of your countries that have puppet leaders um that are still under the whims and caprices of some of this, you know, when they say they give sanctions, your country it really, really contributes too. And when they say they donate so amount, you might not just know. Country too, under the wing of AU and all of that, they have a way of, you know, showing that solidarity and allegiance. That's why they call it shared values. That's why they call it shared goal, common one. So if I hate him, you have to hate him. But this will only be advantageous to the Sahel, because you know most of those battle tested Russian troops, you know, some of them will get deployed to Mali, to Central African Republic, to Equatorial Guinea, you know, and we will see. We'll see how things are going to unfold from there. But you can, if you listen to the words of Emmanuel Macron, you can actually see that what is still saying is, I don't understand what he's saying. And as you can see, they are not ready to risk it all. They are not ready to, you know, to establish a contact with the Russian forces. You know, they just continue to speak on the background and begin, and you know, they continuously try to create some sort of escalation and feud and all of that. But you know, they don't hold the card. Russia continue to walk through Ukraine, and you know, when you have conflict that is escalating, you know, and Russia begins to gain ground on a geometric progression now, it's better they reach the peace deal. Because if they don't reach the peace deal right now, a time will come where there will be no Ukraine again. This peace deal at this point is existential for Ukraine. Ukraine don't have the military card anymore. You know, and when you are getting to the end stage of any conflict, you have one side will continue to move massively after a long stall in movement. But if you look at what has been going on in Ukraine presently, you hear, oh, yesterday Russia took this territory, today Russia took that territory. And that is because the quality troops, the quality forces in Ukraine, the experienced ones, have been demilitarized massively. And what you have on the front line is inexperienced conscripts and some of the European forces that don't really have experience that match the realities of the modern level of escalation that is going on in the Russia-Ukraine front. And you know, I just think the peace deal came at the right time and all of that. So in Somalia, you know, based on the escalation that has really been gained by the US and the Puntland forces right now, they've actually started capturing a lot of saboteurs. And one of them is the Maghrebs. A Moroccan citizen was actually caught. He was in charge of monitoring, you know, interception of communication, you know, and he was captured, and they've interrogated him. And you know, it just shows you what these people in the Maghreb, you know, how they contribute to destabilizing Africa. We can see them for who they are, and anybody that continues to think these people are Africans, you know, it's disturbing. Honestly, it's disturbing. And again, in Nigeria, you know, most especially in the River States, you know, there was a significant exchange earlier yesterday, and we actually posted the bodies of the jihadists on the, you know, we posted it on our Telegram. And what happened, what I noticed about that operation was, I think there was a significant difference in the capabilities that was deployed on the line of contact, the close combat capability. I think the jihadists only had AK-47 and PKM rifles, and you know, the PKM, the accuracy of the PKM is not really so good. The AK-47, the effective range is limited compared to the AK-103. And if you look at some of the guys that actually combated them, they were on AK-103.
Wana. Kamemie. Yeah. Wana. Wana. They just attack us this morning, 6 a.m. in this morning. Unexpected. But God, Allah, help us.
The criminals.
Look at the bandits. Amen. The flying men. Look at them.
Look at how tiny this man is.
Yes, look at them.
How small boy.
Yes. Asawana.
Wana.
Ababua.
Bro.
Simini. Thank you. Look at them. Look at them.
Victory will always be us.
Yes.
Look at how small they are.
Amen.
Look at this one, like a cripple.
Cut them so that you could do it again. So that Amen. You understand me? Yes,
Proud them.
Amen.
Allah will help us always.
Amen.
We will conquer.
Amen.
Don't do. Now our name be that.
We were seeing like great weapons, and I think the distance, the range and everything, they were able to completely discombobulate the jihadists. If you see some of the bodies, you will actually see that the troops really they damaged them beyond repair. And on another front, you could actually see Nigerian Armed Forces that were guarding a very consequential logistic route. They were under attack by the jihadists.
We are under attack. We are under attack. We are under attack now, as you can see.
Who is that?
We are under attack. We are under attack. As you can see, this is Mango FOB. DSS Mango FOB. We are under attack. We are under attack. As you can see, our soldiers are under attack. Right now, we are under. Hey, come on, Brenda. Wana! Oh, Wala! Oh, Wala! As you can see, we are under attack. As you can see, we are under attack now.
And when you look at the attack and you look at how you look at the level of standoff and you look at the type of ambush that is going on out there, it just, to me, what I feel is I think the government needs to do more. They need to help the troops to defend the country more, because there is a role for the government to play in all of this. I think the Nigerian Armed Forces needs more capabilities. I mean, surveillance capabilities. I think they need, just like the deployed troops, infantries, I think they need to, deploy drone units surveillance drone units, mobile vehicle-borne surveillance drone units and all of that, just imagine they had a UAV that is giving them real-time location coordinates on the enemies. I think this could have been a clockwork. This could have been a walk in the park for the Nigerian Armed Forces, given the efficiency of the manpower, given the intelligence of the Nigerian Armed Forces. But what we see is that they are not being properly enabled. We've heard complaints of guns getting jammed and not properly maintained, AK-47 from 19 Mongo Park and God knows when. They just need to do better to enable our troops to defend us. As long as they are soldiers, as long as this was what they signed up for, they are still Nigerians and they are Nigerian citizens, and they equally need to be taken care of. Their welfare, they need to be protected and well taken care of. That you have troops to deploy on the line of contact does not mean you just deploy them because they are troops. It is your responsibility as government to still give them the necessary, even beyond necessary capability sometimes, to make sure that they have the best possible chance of coming back home. That is what it's about. But the reality is just different. When you have a lot of embezzlement and fraud and corruption at the end at the end of affairs, you continue to have these things, and you continue to have situations where soldiers just continue to say that they are under attack. Yeah, and what I would say about this is a lot of people have been asking me, why are the Nigerian armed forces continuously always getting under, like they are always saying we are under attack, we're under attack, and you've never heard. A lot of people don't know the realities on the line of contact. Okay, you don't know what is going on. You are home, they are in the bush. You don't know what is going on. They are opening new front, but there's a lot of infiltration, even within the ranks. But what I think is, they are in strategic positions that is limiting the extravasation of these jihadists. If they are not in those locations where they get attacked multiple times, I think the Nigerian armed forces are doing a very great job, even with limited resources and limited support, right? They are doing a great job, because you see those locations are strategic locations that if the jihadists end up infiltrating and overrunning those locations, you will see a significant level of escalation and infiltration. So these are the people that are maintaining the integrity of the territory. Those locations you see them staying, that's why you see that the jihadists continuously attack them. Don't fall for this story of the jihadists saying they are not coming for the civilians, they're coming for the troops. When the troops are not there, what will happen? They establish an Islamic Sharia law and, they do what they want to do. So we have to understand that, look, this group are doing a very great job, and kudos to the Nigerian armed forces as they continue to protect the Nigerian people. We love you and we respect you all. And in Mali, Mali has currently, they've now ended their long-standing, standoff with the Barrick Gold company, and based on the agreements, and and immediately they reached an agreement. The Barrick stocks, their shares just went through the roof. That is to tell you how important Mali is, and it further tells you, why this war that has been waged against Mali has been waged. Just because Mali agreed to end the conflict with Barrick Gold, the stocks of Barrick Gold went through the roof. Barrick Gold is just one particular location where they do the activity, right? So now look at what happens in all of Mali, right? So and in line with this agreement, some of the drafts that they've made, Mali will drop all the charges, that existing charges that it has against Barrick Gold. They will release the 4 employees that were detained, and there will be end of the provisional administration, and the Barrick Gold representative will actually come back, and there will be withdrawal of the arbitration charge that the Barrick Gold actually made against the Malian state. And at the end of it all, Barrick Gold will pay 244 billion CFA franc to the Malian state, and it's a win-win at the end of the day. But this is my thing, there should be a new draft, there should be a new code that that will lead to a sort of close monitoring of the activities of companies like this, so that they don't connive with so that they don't carry, what I'm saying. So I don't need to say it completely. So this is what we have for you guys. Really appreciate your coming back. We really love you. Andrea is coming back in with full capacity. My energy is back. I'm at the final stage of my recovery, and yeah, everything is getting good. We're back again. I really appreciate you. It's your boy 72 Android signing out. Enough said. But before I go, love you all, man. Big ups to the Android community. Thank you and God bless you. Aluta continua. Victoria Santa.